Srina, your computer science teacher. In last class, we saw what is signed integer, unsigned integer, long, double and all, isn't it? So what is character, all that we saw, and what we also saw the differences between Dev C++ and Turbo C, isn't it? Today we shall see variables. So what is a variable? Variable is nothing but a user defined name, the name that we give for a data. It is going to be termed as what? Variables. Yes, why do we actually define a variable? It is because when I define a variable, a memory space will be allocated for that variable, and in that memory space what will happen is the value that we assign will be assigned to it. Yes, that is the uses of your variable. The variables will be called as symbolic variables because these are named locations. Yes, there are two values associated with a symbolic variable. One is going to be R value, the other one is going to be L value. What is R value? R value is nothing but the data stored in a memory location. What about L value? L value is the memory address in which the R value is stored. I believe you wouldn't have understood what I am talking about, isn't it? I'll teach you clearly. Just wait. Say for example, let me write it as int num, right? Num is a name that I give for a variable. So num is a variable. Fine. So as I give this, what happens is a space will be allocated for this num. Since it is integer, how much of space will be allocated? 4 spaces will be allocated because it consumes 4 bytes, isn't it? So 4 spaces will be allocated for this num. This R value, L value will be depending on the address. See, for each and every space will be addressed with an address. Each and everything will have an address. Say for example, write it as 0x11, 0x12, 0x13, so on. So what happens? This 4 spaces is actually allocated as a memory space for this variable num. In case if I am going to give num is equal to 5, 5 will be allocated in the space that is allocated for num. Able to follow? See, have a look here. What have they done? Num 1, num 2. We referred it with address. The values which is being present inside, the value which is inside is going to be R value, and the address here, the address is going to be L value. Then you will ask me one question, I definitely know. Miss, will the address be like this? Not at all. This is just an example. Fine. So declaration of a variable. Every variable should be declared before they are actually used in a program. Yes, declaration is a process to instruct the compiler to allocate a memory as per the type that is specified along with a variable name. For example, if you declare a variable with an integer type in Dev C++, how many bytes will it take? I already told you it is going to consume 4 bytes. Yes, thus every variable should be declared along with the type of the value to be stored. Declaration of more than one variable. More than one variable of the same type can be declared as a single statement using a comma separating value. Say for example, how can we say int a comma b comma c, yes, followed by a semicolon. What have we done? We declared 3 variables. Yes, with what have we declared? We have declared that with a semicolon. Clear? Yes, in the above statement there are 3 variables declared as integer type, which means num1, num2, sum. Yes, what have they declared here? Num1, num2, sum. And they have used comma for separating, and for the end of the statement it must end up with a semicolon. I believe you people remember how I taught you to run a Dev C++ program in your live session. Yes? Now let us take this. See, int num1, num2, num3. Now what happened is, memory space will be allocated as we declare a variable. What will happen? A memory space will be created as we declare a variable. Num1 4 bytes will be created. Num2 4 bytes will be created. As well for the sum also 4 spaces will be created. This is how the memory space will be allocated for each and every variable. Now let us see what is meant by garbage values. Yes. Have a look at this program. Your execution always starts from main. What are the 3 variables that they have declared? Num1, num2, sum. Yes, num1, num2, sum. Now what they are doing? They are just going to, what will happen here? Num1, this will give you the address of that variable because we haven't given anything there. Next what happens? Num2. Actually, you can't write like this. We shall make it a little more clear because everything is going to be, nothing is going to be a input here. Change this as Cn. Fine, with an extraction symbol. Able to follow? See, in case if I am going to specify this as Cn, yes, Cn num1, Cn num2, what will happen? The value will be obtained from the user. Right now what they have done here, they are straight away printing the num1. So what will happen is any junk value that is actually presented. Since we haven't assigned any value, are we getting input from the user? No. Have I made any direct initialization like num1 is equal to 10? No. Right? So what happens? Any junk value, any value that is actually present here, any value it might be which is already present will be printed. And even here any value that is actually available will be printed. Yes. And what about the addition? An unknown value will be obtained, and that value is also going to be a junk value. Yes, that is also called as garbage value. Now, what is initialization of variables? Initialization of variables is nothing but assigning a value to a variable during the declaration. It is termed as what? Initialization. See here, int num is equal to 100. 100 is being assigned to a variable num. 3.14 pi. 3.14 is actually assigned to pi. Double price. This is also a float value, right? This is actually assigned to what? Your price. Yes. That is what is termed as what? Initialization. Now let us see a program for finding a curved surface area of a cylinder. Just have a look here. Pi value, which is 3.14. We have given radius, height and curved surface area, which is CSA. These are all variables, and here we have already made a direct initialization. Pi is equal to 3.14. For radius and height, we are going to get it from the user. See out curved surface area of a cylinder, which is anything that is there in the double quotes will be printed as it is. Yes. And where will your execution always start from? Your execution will always start from main. Yes. Next, what have we done? See out, enter radius. Even that will be printed as it is. See in, we are getting the radius. It is going to be in what? Decimal value. And enter height, it is going to be printed as it is, and we will obtain the height from the user. Next, what are we doing? We are just going to multiply 2 by r into h. All this will be multiplied and the value will be stored in CSA. This is clear screen. Next, what do you have? You have see out radius. This will be printed as it is, and the value of radius. What is the value of radius that we obtained, that we got, will be printed. And height, what is the value that we obtained, will be printed. Curved surface area, the value that is actually multiplied will be printed, and square meter will be printed as it is. Yes, shall we relate this with our input now? Your output now? Yes, have a look. Pi is equal to 3.14, radius, height, curved surface area. So curved surface area of a cylinder, it is given in a double quote, it is printed as it is. Enter radius, it is given in double quotes, it is printed as it is. Cn, we are getting the input, that is why they have got the input also as 7. Enter height, it will be printed as it is. And since we are not giving any new line here, what will happen? The height will be printed as it is. What about next? Here calculation part only. So this calculation will be done and it will be stored in CSA. Now what happens? Radius. Double quotes, it is printed as it is. Radius is the value that we gave here, 7, will be printed as it is. And height is what we got, that will also be printed as it is. And centimeters, since it is in double quotes, it will be printed as it is. Curved surface area of a cylinder, it is double quotes, it is printed, and the value that we obtain while multiplying will be printed here. Yes, that is all is the program. You people can do one thing. If you people have laptops, install Dave C++, and I already taught you how to run your Dave C++, and I already taught you how to install your Dave C++, isn't it? Install it, run and see. Fine. Variables of same type, if they are all integer, I can initialize them during the initialization part in a single statement itself. Yes, what is meant by dynamic initialization? In last class, in your live session, I taught you, isn't it? What is dynamic initialization? During runtime, the variable will be initialized. Yes, that is going to be termed as what? Dynamic initialization. See here, int sum is equal to num1 plus num2. During the sum only, during the summation only, we are declaring a data type. Yes, that is what is termed as what? Dynamic initialization. Have a look here, main num1 and num2, we got the variables, getting the input from the user, getting the input from the user for the num2. Then what are we doing? We are just adding both the values. Here only I am declaring. I haven't declared it here. Usually what do we do? Int num1 num2 comma sum. This is how we write, isn't it? But here what have we done? We have declared a variable during the runtime process. That is what is termed as what? Dynamic initialization. Yes. Now write a C++ program to find the perimeter of a circle. Yes, what is the formula for perimeter? It is 2 pi r, isn't it? And also the area of a semicircle. What is area of the semicircle formula? Pi r square divided by 2. Yes, now let us have a look at this program. We are just learning about dynamic initialization. Yes, we have declared only a radius here. We have given direct initialization of your variable pi. Next, what am I doing? I am getting the value for my radius. We obtained. Now what happens? This perimeter is not being declared along with the radius. Yes, we are declaring it here as float, and I am just doing 2 pi r, and I am just directly storing it in the perimeter. Next, we are doing pi r square divided by 2, and I am directly storing it in area. If you see, this float is not actually declared in the second line, or pi 3.14 comma perimeter comma area. It can be written like that, right? It is not actually written. They are declaring it in the runtime. And as usual, your output will be printed. Yes. This is how your dynamic initialization is done. Next is your access modifier constant. See, constant is a keyword which is used to declare a constant. You have already learned the constant in a previous chapter, isn't it? So what happens to your constant keyword? It modifies or restricts the accessibility of a variable. That is why it is termed as what? Access modifier. For example, let us take int num is equal to 100. See, initially if I am going to give int num is equal to 100, during the program process, what happens is, if I wanted to, if I make any changes during execution, it will be accepted. Whereas, if I make it as constant int, what will happen? The value can't be changed. Clear? See, let us take an example for this. Constant. I have declared the num as constant. Now, value of num will be printed. I am trying to increment a constant. Value will be 100 again. Do you know why? It will not be. Actually, you cannot make any changes. Even if you make it, it is not going to accept the change. Why so? It is because we have given it as what? We have given it as constant. So, an error message will be displayed specifying cannot modify a constant object in a turbo compiler, whereas in your Dave C++ assignment of read only memory num, this is what you will get. forget about turbo, just have a look at your TFC++ assignment of read only num. Now let us move on to references. Reference provides an alias for a previously defined variable. Declaration of a reference consists of base type and an ampersand symbol. Reference variable name is assigned the value of a previously declared variable. Type reference variable is equal to original variable. Say for example, let us take a sample program. I already taught you this also, isn't it? What is a reference variable? What does it actually do? The address will refer to the value, the address of the address of, when you give this temp, the address of that variable refer to the variable of the value of the variable assigned. Yes. Now let us take int num. Okay, fine. Now what have we done? We have just given ampersand temp. This is a reference variable. The value of this num, what is, say for example, if I am going to give it as 10, num is 10. What will happen? Temp will take the value 10. So on execution, temp and num will give you 10 only. Yes. Thank you children. We shall stop with this and we shall continue in our next class.